My name is Amelia Hayes. I'm 32 years old. And last Thursday night, sitting alone in my living room with a slice of pizza going cold in my hand, I watched my entire relationship collapse in under 10 seconds. Not loudly, not violently, but with a kind of quiet clarity that felt colder than anger. Because when the truth finally showed itself, it didn't feel like chaos. It felt like confirmation. Ryan Carter had just texted me 5 minutes earlier. Still at the office. This launch is insane tonight. Danielle's making us stay late. Don't wait up. Love you. I remember staring at that message for a second longer than usual. Not because it sounded strange, but because it sounded rehearsed. Too clean. Too familiar. For the past 2 months, Ryan had been working late more and more. Always the same explanation. Deadlines, pressure, opportunity. This is my chance, Amelia, he kept saying. Danielle's watching everything. Danielle Hale, my boss, 45, married, 2 kids. The kind of woman who carried authority like it was stitched into her skin. She was the head of analytics, which meant she was my direct supervisor and Ryan's boss's boss, a detail that used to make me proud. Now it just sat in my chest like something unresolved. You're a lucky woman, Amelia, Danielle had told me just days earlier at the office coffee machine, her hand resting a little too long on my shoulder. Ryan's sharp, ambitious. Not everyone gets someone like that. I smiled. Because that's what you do when something feels off, but not enough to justify saying it out loud. I told myself I was overthinking. I told myself this was what ambition looked like. I told myself relationships go through phases. So that night, I texted him back. No problem. Good luck. Love you too. I ordered pizza, turned on my PlayStation, tried to settle into the kind of normal evening that didn't require questions. But something inside me wouldn't settle. Around 9:30 p.m., I picked up my phone while waiting for a game to load. Instagram. Mindless scrolling. And then I saw it. A new story. Jenna, one of Ryan's marketing coworkers. The caption read, "Girls' Night." I almost skipped it. Almost. But something quiet and persistent made my thumb pause before tapping. Music. Loud. Glasses clinking, laughter spilling through the screen. A bar I didn't recognize. Jenna's face filled the frame as she laughed into the camera. Thursday is the new Friday. My stomach tightened. Working late. I tapped to the next clip. The camera moved, careless, unsteady, panning across the room. And then it stopped. Just for a second. Long enough. There was a booth in the corner. Dark, curved, private. And Ryan was sitting there. Not with coworkers, not working. His hand was tangled in someone's hair. Their faces pressed together. Kissing. Not hesitant. Not mistaken. Deliberate. Hungry. And the person he was kissing was Danielle, my boss, his boss's boss. The woman who signed off on my performance reviews. The one who had looked me in the eye and called me lucky. I watched the video twice, then a third time, just to make sure my brain wasn't trying to protect me by distorting it. But it didn't change. It didn't soften. It didn't become anything else. I didn't feel rage. That's the part people don't understand. There was no explosion, no screaming, no throwing things, just silence. A kind of stillness so complete, it felt like everything inside me had frozen over. Because it wasn't just cheating. It was the lies, the repetition, the careful construction of a reality that didn't exist. Every working late, every tired smile, every "this is for us," all of it aligned perfectly with that 10-second video. I screen recorded it, saved it, emailed it to myself, backed it up. Methodical, precise. The way I handle data, because that's what this was now. Not a relationship, not an emotional crisis. A set of facts. And then I picked up my phone and texted Ryan. No problem. Same words, different meaning. This wasn't reassurance anymore. This was acknowledgement. I see it. I understand. and I'm done pretending I don't. Then I opened my work laptop, logged into my corporate email, pulled up the employee handbook. Section 4.1a, Fraternization and Conflicts of Interest. Relationships between a manager and any subordinate in their chain of command. Strictly prohibited. I read the paragraph slowly, once, twice, letting every word settle into place. And then I started typing. Dear Brenda and Stephen, it is with serious concern that I report a clear violation of company policy. My fingers didn't shake. My thoughts didn't scatter. Everything felt clean. Attached, the video, the timestamp, Ryan's message, context, structure, clarity. By the time I finished, it was 9:54 p.m. I reread it once, adjusted a sentence, removed emotion, left only facts. And then I clicked send. The pizza tasted like nothing. I turned off the PlayStation, and I didn't sleep. I knew the morning was going to be ugly before the sun even came up. There are nights when you lie awake, hoping the truth will rearrange itself by daylight, hoping exhaustion will soften what you saw and make it feel less final. I didn't have that luxury. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw the same image again. Ryan's hand in Danielle's hair. Danielle leaning into him like this had happened before, like secrecy had already become routine. By 8:01 a.m., the first email arrived. From Brenda. The subject line was short. Urgent. Amelia, thank you for bringing this to our attention. We are treating this matter with the utmost seriousness. Your discretion is appreciated. Please work from home today. I will call you at 10 a.m. Please be available. I read it once, then set my phone down beside my coffee. The apartment felt unnaturally still. The kind of stillness that comes right before something breaks open. For 2 hours, I sat at my kitchen counter in the same oversized t-shirt I had slept badly in, drinking black coffee that turned lukewarm before I finished each cup. My hands were steady, but my body felt wrong, too alert, too cold, like my nervous system had skipped panic and gone straight into survival. At 9:45, my phone exploded. Missed call. Another. Then a flood of texts. Ryan. Amelia, what did you do? My laptop access is gone. Why can't I get into my email? Call me right now. A second later, Danielle. Amelia, we need to speak immediately. This is a misunderstanding. You are making a serious mistake. Then Ryan again. They fired me. Oh my God. They fired me. Call me, Amelia. Please. Then the tone shifted. You had no right. You ruined my life. I stared at the screen and felt something inside me settle even deeper into place. Not once did he say, I'm sorry. Not once did he deny it. Not once did he ask how I was. Only what I had done to him. At 9:58, the doorbell rang. Once. Then again, then continuously, sharp and frantic, echoing through the condo. I walked quietly to the door and looked through the peephole. Ryan. His face was wrecked, eyes red, hair messy, yesterday's clothes wrinkled like he had slept in them, or not slept at all. He was pacing between rings, then pounding on the door with the flat of his hand. Amelia, I know you're in there. The doorbell rang again. Amelia, open the door. My work phone lit up at the same time. Brenda, I answered. Hi, Brenda. Amelia, she said carefully. Are you somewhere private? I almost laughed. Through the door, Ryan shouted my name again, louder this time, his voice breaking with a mix of panic and rage. Yes, I said, staring at the wood panel in front of me. I'm somewhere private. She hesitated for half a second, maybe hearing him anyway. After a brief but conclusive investigation, both Ryan Carter and Danielle Hale have been terminated, effective immediately. Their conduct constituted a serious and direct violation of company policy. Legal has documented the matter. Security has been notified internally. We are especially disturbed by the abuse of authority involved. Ryan hit the door harder. Amelia, don't do this. Brenda's voice softened. Are you safe? I closed my eyes, for 1 second. Yes, I said. He's outside my condo. Oh, she breathed. Would you like us to contact building security? No, I can handle it. When I ended the call, the silence lasted less than a second before Ryan started again. Amelia, please open the door. We need to talk. Talk. That word almost offended me. I unlocked the door and opened it only as far as the chain would allow at first. Just enough to see him clearly. Just enough for him to see my face. He looked wrecked in the way men do when consequences arrive faster than they expected. His confidence was gone. What remained was need. You, he said, voice shaking. You did this. No, I said, you did. His face twisted. It was a mistake. I looked at him for a long moment, then unlatched the chain and opened the door fully, though I stayed planted in the doorway. A mistake, I repeated. You accidentally lied to me for 2 months? Accidentally told me you were working late while you were at a bar with my boss? Accidentally made out with a married woman who sits above both of us in the company hierarchy? His jaw tightened. It wasn't what you think. That almost made me smile. I watched the video, Ryan. He dragged a hand over his face. You don't understand. Danielle said she was going to help me. She said she believed in me. She said there was a promotion coming, more visibility, real opportunity. I didn't plan for any of this to happen. There it was. Not remorse. Explanation built around ambition. I don't care why you did it, I said. I care that you did. He stepped forward, lowering his voice. You should have talked to me first. I laughed then, a quiet sound with no warmth in it at all. Talk to you first? Before what? Before reporting my boyfriend and my boss for having an affair behind my back while violating company policy? Was I supposed to protect your feelings while you were humiliating me? His eyes flashed. You got me fired. You got yourself fired. He looked over my shoulder into the condo, into the space that had become ours because I had allowed it to. Then he said the one thing that made everything suddenly simple. Danielle was going to promote me. I stared at him, not because I was shocked, because in one sentence he had stripped the entire situation down to its ugliest truth. Not love. Not confusion. Not weakness. Opportunity. He had traded integrity for access and then expected me to live beside him like none of it had touched me. I leaned against the doorway and said, very calmly, "You have 1 hour." He blinked. What? 1 hour to pack a bag, essentials only, clothes, documents, whatever you need for the week. Then you leave. His expression emptied in disbelief. Amelia, I live here. No, I said, you stay here. There's a difference. His mouth fell open. You can't just throw me out. I can, and I am. He took another step toward me, anger rising now that panic wasn't getting him what he wanted. After everything I've done, after everything I contributed, I held his gaze. What exactly did you contribute, Ryan? Rent? Half the mortgage? Stability? Loyalty? He said nothing, because we both knew the answer. This was my condo. I bought it before I met him. I paid the mortgage. I paid most of the utilities when his spending got sloppy and his promises got vague. You don't get to betray me and then negotiate your comfort, I said. His eyes went wet then, but I didn't trust the tears. Where am I supposed to go? He whispered. I shrugged lightly. Call Jenna. Call your mother. Call Danielle. That hit. You're being cruel. No, I said. I'm being clear. Finally, he pushed past me without another word and disappeared into the bedroom. Then came Danielle's side of the fallout. Not from her. From her husband, Benjamin Hale. Her message landed in my Facebook inbox 2 days later, long and unfiltered. You destroyed my family. Danielle is a good woman, a good mother. You have no idea what you've done to us. That boyfriend of yours manipulated her. He threw himself at her. She is the victim here. Another message came seconds later. You need to fix this. Call your company. Tell them the video was fake. Say it was a misunderstanding. She can still get her job back if you correct this. I typed carefully. Benjamin, I'm sorry for your situation, but I will not lie. Your wife made her choices. Please do not contact me again. I blocked him. 3 days later, there was a knock at my door. Not frantic this time. Measured. professional. When I opened it, a man in a cheap gray suit stood there holding a large envelope. Amelia Hayes? Yes. You've been served. He handed it over and walked away before I could say anything else. I closed the door slowly, staring down at the envelope in my hands, already feeling the weight of it before I even opened it. Legal weight. I set it on the kitchen counter. Didn't touch it for a full minute. Then I opened it. The words blurred together at first. Legal language stacked on legal language. But the key details snapped into focus quickly. Danielle Hale. Plaintiff, me. Defendant, $250,000. Charges, defamation, slander, and tortious interference with business relations. I actually laughed. Not because it was funny, because it was so absurd it felt unreal. She was claiming I fabricated the video, that it was a friendly interaction at a company-sanctioned event, that I had manipulated footage in a jealous attempt to destroy her career, that I had been passed over for a promotion and retaliated. I stood there in my kitchen, the paper trembling slightly in my hands now, the first real crack in my composure since all of this started. This wasn't just retaliation. This was escalation. And then I turned the page, and everything inside me dropped. Attached affidavit, Ryan Carter. My chest tightened as I read. He claimed I was controlling, emotionally abusive, that I had threatened him, that I was unstable, that I had fabricated the video out of jealousy and rage, that he and Danielle were close colleagues and nothing more, that the video was not authentic. I read the paragraph twice, 3 times, letting the words settle into something real. He didn't just betray me. He aligned himself with Danielle. He signed his name to a lie, a legal lie, perjury, for someone who had used him for a situation that had already destroyed both of them. And suddenly, the emotional pain I'd been managing shifted into something else entirely. Clarity again, but sharper this time, colder. This wasn't about heartbreak anymore. This was about survival. I picked up my phone and called the first name that came to mind. A referral from a colleague, Tessa Morgan. She answered on the 3rd ring. Law offices of Morgan and Price. My name is Amelia Hayes, I said, my voice steady despite the way my pulse had started to climb. I've just been served in a defamation suit by my former supervisor. I need representation. There was a pause. Then her tone changed, sharpening slightly. Send me everything. Within an hour, I was sitting across from her in her office. Tessa didn't waste time on sympathy. She flipped through the documents quickly, eyes scanning, mind already working. They're claiming the video is fake, she said flatly. Yes. And your ex-boyfriend is supporting that claim. Yes. She looked up at me then. Good. I blinked. Good? It means they've committed fully, she said, leaning back in her chair. People like this don't leave themselves room to retreat. They double down. That's how they lose. I felt something inside me settle at that. Not comfort, but direction. Tessa, I said quietly, they're going to try to bury me in this. They will, she said. Paperwork, motions, delays. The goal is to drain you, financially, emotionally, until you give up or retract your statement. I nodded slowly. That's not going to happen. A small smile touched the corner of her mouth. Good, she said again, because we're not playing defense. She tapped the folder. We're going after the facts. What do you need? Everything, she said. The original video source, the person who posted it, any messages, any timestamps, any inconsistencies in their story. Jenna, I said immediately. The coworker? Yes, she posted the Instagram story. Tessa nodded once. Then we start there. She leaned forward slightly, her voice lowering. If that video is real, and I believe it is, we don't just disprove their claim. She paused. We dismantle it. For the first time since I opened that envelope, I felt something shift inside me. Not relief. Not yet, but something close to control. They had made their move. Now it was my turn. The first time I saw Ryan again after the lawsuit was filed, he couldn't look at me. Not fully, not directly. He sat across the conference table during the preliminary hearing, shoulders slightly hunched, fingers locked together like he was holding himself in place. Danielle sat beside him, rigid, controlled, still trying to project authority even as everything around her had started to crack. I didn't feel anger when I looked at them. I felt distance, like I was observing something that no longer belonged to me. Tessa leaned in slightly. "This is where it starts," she murmured. "Stay quiet. Let them talk." So I did. Danielle's lawyer spoke first. Confident, polished, carefully structured. "This case concerns a malicious act by a disgruntled employee who fabricated evidence to destroy the reputation of a respected executive." Fabricated. The word hung in the air like something that almost deserved to be laughed at. Almost. Tessa didn't interrupt. She let them build it. Let them commit. Because the higher they built their version of reality, the harder it would collapse. The real shift came during Jenna's deposition. She walked in, already shaken. You could see it in the way her hands wouldn't stay still, the way her eyes kept flicking toward Ryan and then away again, caught between loyalty and fear, between friendship and the weight of legal consequences. Tessa didn't rush her. "Jenna," she said calmly, "let's keep this simple. The night in question, were you attending a company-sanctioned team-building event?" Jenna blinked. "No." Danielle's lawyer shifted in his seat. Tessa continued, steady and precise. "Where were you?" "At the Crimson Lounge," Jenna said. "It was just a girls' night." "And Danielle Hale?" Jenna hesitated, then exhaled. "She met us there." "Was she acting as a supervisor or chaperone?" "No." "Who invited her?" Jenna's eyes flicked toward Ryan for a split second, then dropped. "Ryan did." That landed, not loudly, but decisively. Tessa nodded once. "Now, the video you posted to your Instagram story, did you alter it in any way?" Jenna shook her head quickly. "No, I wouldn't even know how." "Did you edit it?" "No." "Is the video an accurate recording of what you saw that night?" Jenna swallowed, then said quietly but clearly, "Yes." I didn't look at Ryan. I didn't need to. I could feel the shift without turning my head. But Tessa wasn't finished. She reached into her folder and pulled out a printed screenshot. "Jenna, do you maintain a close friends story on Instagram?" Jenna's face paled slightly. "Yes." "And did you post additional content from that same night to that private story?" Silence. "Longer this time." "Jenna," Tessa said gently, "you are under oath." Jenna nodded, almost to herself. "Yes." "Can you describe what was in that video?" Jenna closed her eyes briefly, like she was replaying it. "I was filming earlier in the night. Danielle had bought drinks. I said something like, 'When the boss buys, we celebrate.' She raised her glass and smiled at the camera." Tessa turned toward the judge. No further questions. Danielle's lawyer stood quickly, trying to recover ground that was already slipping. But the damage had been done. And then came the final piece, the one that ended it. Tessa approached the projector and connected her laptop. "Your Honor," she said, her tone shifting just slightly. "We have obtained itemized transaction records from the Crimson Lounge for the evening in question." The screen lit up. Receipt. Time-stamped. Detailed. 2 bottles of Dom Perignon. 6 espresso martinis. 4 whiskey sours. Total, $1,142.50. Paid for at 9:45 p.m. by Danielle Hale. Using a company card. The courtroom went completely still, because now it wasn't just about an affair, or even about lying. It was fraud, misuse of company funds, perjury, all tied together in one clean, undeniable line of evidence. Tessa didn't need to say much after that. "They claim this was a professional event," she said simply. "The evidence shows otherwise." Danielle's lawyer leaned in toward her immediately, whispering urgently. Ryan looked like he had stopped breathing. Within minutes, a recess was called. Within an hour, the lawsuit was dropped. Just like that. Months of pressure, of threats, of carefully constructed lies. Gone. Because they couldn't survive the truth. But it didn't end there. Tessa moved fast. Countersuit. Malicious prosecution. Defamation. Full recovery of legal fees. Danielle didn't fight it. She couldn't. Not with the company now investigating her for financial misconduct. Not with perjury hanging over her. The settlement came quickly, $38,200 to cover my legal fees, an additional $20,000 in damages. Numbers that felt less like compensation and more like confirmation. Benjamin was in the courtroom that day. He heard everything. The receipts, the testimony, the truth he had refused to accept. He filed for divorce within 24 hours. Danielle lost everything after that. Her job, her reputation, her place in the industry. People like her don't recover from that kind of exposure. And Ryan unraveled quietly. No dramatic collapse. No final confrontation. Just absence. His friends cut him off. Jenna stopped speaking to him. The version of himself he had tried to build through Danielle disappeared with her. Last I heard, he was living with his mother, working a job that didn't require recommendations, starting over in a way that didn't include ambition anymore. He tried to reach out once. A new number. A short message. "I'm sorry, I messed everything up. She manipulated me. I have nothing now. Please." I read it. Then I blocked the number, not out of anger, but because there was nothing left to say. As for me, the company brought me back after the case closed. Apologies, recognition, a quiet kind of respect that hadn't been there before. I didn't take Danielle's position, but I didn't need to. I got a raise, a new title, and something far more valuable than either of those things. Clarity. The 4 months of legal chaos cost me sleep, peace. A relationship I thought was real. But in the end, I didn't lose. Because I never had to lie. I never had to manipulate. I never had to destroy anyone. I just told the truth, presented the facts, and let their own choices do the rest. That's the thing about people like Ryan and Danielle. They think power comes from control, from secrecy, from bending reality just enough to get what they want. But reality doesn't bend forever. Eventually, it snaps back. And when it does, it doesn't need help. I'm taking a vacation next month, somewhere quiet. No emails, no notifications, no noise, just space. Because for the first time in a long time, there's nothing left chasing me.